Autofanatic. So today we're going to have some fun on this video. This is going to be my very first ceramic coating. I've never applied a ceramic coating to a car, never applied it to wheels before. So after the amount of emails that I've received over the last year and a half from a lot of you guys out there, hey, how do you do a ceramic coating? How do you do rim coatings in terms of this? So I was like, you know what? Let me just buy it. I picked up the Gyeon Q2 rim coat. I got this on Amazon. This was about 50 bucks. I didn't get this for free. And I'm going to go through several steps. We're going to be using my GT350 wheels. These are a great candidate for a video. And the preparation is going to be the key on doing this type of a job. And I'm going to walk you through all the steps, all the equipment, everything that I've shown on my channel is going to be used today, because the preparation is going to be key. So, all right, guys. So what we're going to do is we have to surface correct the gloss black finish. So we're going to be using some Sonax Perfect Finish. I have my Flex 3-inch with a microfiber white cutting pad. These pads are great. They're also great because most microfiber pads are black, and when you're doing something like this, you really want to make sure that the surface is perfectly clean, and whatever's on the surface is going to be transferred onto the white pad, and it's going to let you know when you have that surface perfectly clean. Because if you don't have a perfect clean surface, the preparation is going to go down the tubes and the application of the coating is going to go down the tubes. And that's one thing I can't stress enough. So this video is going to probably be really long. I'm going to condense clips of it because it's probably going to take me about an hour to do each wheel. And but I think I'm going to show you guys some cool tips. We're going to be using the Rupes Ibra Nano. We're going to be using the Meguiar's Professional Mild Detailing Clay. We're going to be using the Gyeon Spray Prep instead of IPA solution. We're going to be using some Autobody Prepsol, various microfiber pads, Gyeon towels, Gyeon applicator, and of course we're going to be using my Venom Steel Nitro gloves. You're going to definitely go through a lot of gloves. You're definitely going to go through a lot of microfiber towels, but the biggest part of this job is preparation. Get the surface clean, get the surface perfect. I cannot tell you how many cars that I've seen that have been ceramic coated and they just don't do a good job on the preparation, and they putting a coating over micro scratches. They're not getting the surface perfect. So let's get started. We're going to get set up right now. We're going to start with the center caps. These are billet machined aluminum, and they have the same finish of the wheels. So I'm going to give them a quick mist with some autofanatic 007 gloss enhancer in case I missed some spots in the cleaning process when I dried it. We're just going over it with a Griot's PFM detail towel. So those are perfectly clean. Now, next step, we are going to polish these up just a little bit. We're going to be using the Rupes Ibra Nano, little Sonax Perfect Finish. I like to load up the pad just by using my finger, like I'm showing you. I'm wearing my gloves, so everything's good to go. So you're going to hold the center cap in your hand. Give it a good wipe. And you could feel the surface when you know you have it really clean. It's got a nice tooth to it when you go over it with a towel. I could already tell these are perfectly ready to be coated. So we're going to hit the other one now. What we're going to do is we're going to do two things for the preparation stage. We're going to use Prepsol because I know it's going to strip everything off the surface, whereas the Gyeon Prep is very, very mild. Okay? So we're using the Prepsol on a cheap microfiber towel, and I'm just going to go over the surface to make sure it gets any residue or polishing oils off the surface. And this is going to guarantee perfect application of the coating. Okay, so we're going to put this to the side. Now we're going to use various different towels. Now for this particular process, and what I have on hand right now today, the orange towels are going to only be used for the Prepsol. The baby blue towels are going to be used for the Gyeon Prep, and the Griot's turquoise PFM towel is going to be used for the clay bar and the autofanatic 007 gloss enhancer. And that's that. So you guys can see that there on camera. So the solvent's is already evaporated. We're going to keep those to the side. Now let's rotate the wheel. Now we're also using my my little dolly that I showed on my channel not that long ago. You can see right there. So for doing rim detailing, I cannot recommend this enough. Give it a quick mist. We're going to go over the surface like that. And I can see some areas already that we have some tar over here, and I can feel the surface. So step number one, we're going to get the Meguiar's mild cleaning clay out. And we're going to use the Autofanatic 007 as a clear lubricant. It works absolutely incredible. It will not mar the surface like a lot of other lubricants do. With light to moderate pressure. You don't want to go too hard with the clay because, like I said, we're going to go over this with the Flex 3-inch with the microfiber pad, the white microfiber pad, and that's going to ensure that we get everything off the inside rim barrel. You guys could probably see that on camera. You could see all the junk that came off this wheel already. And I could feel it already on the towel that this surface is pretty darn clean. But we're going to take that a step further, and I'm going to show you after I make a couple of passes how this pad is going to change color. So you see that right there on camera? The pad is brand new. I always use a brand new pad when I'm doing this, and then I clean them at the end of the job. So let's get it started. Now this machine doesn't have a soft trigger start. You got to pretty much get it on. And whenever I do rim detailing, break it up into 2 to 4 quadrants, so you make sure you don't miss any spots. Okay, so we're good on this. So that step was pretty painless. And like I said, these are new rims, newer, so you're probably not going to have to go too crazy. But if your rims have been on the car for a while, I would suggest you take a dedicated entire day or a weekend to do this job and to do it properly, because the preparation is the most important. Same thing when you paint the car and you do body work. If you skimp on the preparation, then that's going to be the biggest mistake you ever make. So we're back to the orange cheap microfiber towel. We're using some Auto Body Prepsol. I buy this at Sherwin-Williams Auto Body, and there was some residue right there that didn't come off. And we're going to give this a once over. This is going to take all the polishing oils out. And then before we do our coating, we're going to hit it with the Gyeon prep. Because that's a very mild prep. It doesn't do the greatest job of stripping waxes. I mean, if you're going to do it right. Use a solvent-based product like Prepsol. And this is what we use in the shop before you paint the car. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you get nothing but fisheye and a lot of issues with the paint. So, got the Rupes Hybrid Nano loaded up, and I'm just going to do back here. And having the stand to rotate the wheel, you guys got to pick one of these up if you haven't already. We're using the yellow pad that comes in the Rupes kit. These are Rupes pads. With the Stoneax Perfect finish. This is just going to give a light correction and a nice surface clean, because this is one of the most overlooked spots. You can't necessarily clean this when you're regularly cleaning your wheels because of the rotor and the caliper. Sometimes you could get back there and bend some of your brushes, but it's still one of those areas that's always going to be missed. So I want to properly prep them and paint correct the finish, because I'm going to coat this, and that coating should really help with the maintenance of the wheels, if it is the way all the reviews online say they are. I mean, Amazon's got some crazy good reviews on this product. A lot of my customers have been emailing me that they love it, and it could make the rim cleaning 100% touchless, and it lasts longer than the wax. So, like I said, this is the first time I'm applying it and doing this, so I hope you guys are getting some steps and tricks as far as how I'm doing this process. Like I said, everybody's going to probably do it a little differently, but I'm a fanatic, as you guys know, and I'm just going to do it the best I possibly can using all the equipment that I have, because I don't want to do this twice. I don't really know how coatings are removed. I don't know if there's a chemical solvent that you could just put on a rag and wipe a ceramic coating off. I don't think so. From my understanding, it has to be mechanically removed through a medium to an aggressive type of polish. And I really don't want to go through that on gloss black wheels, to be honest with you. I just think that would be a total nightmare. So we're going to do the face of all the spokes, and then we're going to go in there with the Rupes Ibra Nano with a long neck, and we're going to kind of go into all the little details, spin the rim around. Also sitting on the floor, I actually find it pretty comfortable than doing it standing up. I have a better peripheral view of what I'm doing. And when you're doing on the face, you're probably going to want to put one hand on the tire, just like that. You're going to lightly go over it. If you guys don't have one of these little tools, I suggest it's the best $600 you'll probably ever spend if you guys are real meticulous about doing wheels, calipers, and very finely detailed stuff where you can't get in there with a conventional tool. And I recommend the long neck over the short neck all day long, especially for interiors and cars. If you want to polish out carbon fiber trim or lacquered wood. I'll tell you one thing, the yellow pad is getting pretty trashed. You see that there on camera? Yeah, look at that. So that's all the junk that is embedded into the surface. And really, like I said, I didn't waste time claying the front spokes because most of the tar and stuff is inside the barrel, not on the outside face. Because I clean these wheels about 4 times a week. So that's it, guys. The wheels are fully decontaminated, polished, and prepped in the barrel. Fully decontaminated and polished on the face. I showed you that there. We're going to go over it now. We're going to get some of the Sun-X Perfect Finish residue off of these rims. So let me just get the camera off the tripod. You guys can see that there. They look like they did the day that I pulled them out of the box months ago. So I'll pull the camera back. Now we're at the Prepsol stage. We're just hitting the rim, the spokes that I just polished with some Prepsol, just to guarantee that we get all the polishing oils off the spokes. Another reason I like the Prepsol too is that it evaporates and doesn't leave a residue behind. And now we're at the final stage, so we're going to use the Gyeon Prep. We're just going to give it a good mist on all surfaces of the wheel. And then we're just going to be using a cheap blue microfiber towel. Like I said, when you're doing a project like this, it's good to just designate different steps of the process with different colors of towels, so you don't cross-contaminate and reintroduce foreign materials on your surface. Now, this prep has a very mild smell, does not smell like any kind of an IPA solution to me. I don't know what's in it, but this is just going to be a final once over. But I like to give it a good coating, so I make sure I get the whole surface. So if you saturate the surface, it's going to make you want to go over the surface several times to make sure you have everything thoroughly clean. Don't really love these plastic packagings. That's just Gyeon's thing. So you're going to get a little glass bottle. You're going to get an eyedropper, which is for the application. You're going to get a sponge applicator pad, which is a wedge that you've probably seen in many videos where you just go back and forth. You're going to get some microfiber suede removal pads, but we're actually going to be using, on this particular job, we're going to be using the Gyeon removable cloth. I actually ordered this separately with the kit because I heard that this works really, really well. Let me see what it smells like. It's definitely got a chemical smell to it. There's no doubt about it. So we're going to load up the applicator pad. You're supposed to put a nice even coating. Yeah, this stuff actually has a pretty decent viscosity. You're supposed to let it sit for a couple of seconds, and then you're supposed to buff it right off. That's what the instructions tell you. So we're going to let that kick for about another second or so. I mean, this stuff is, believe it or not, this is relatively easy. I think this is almost easier than applying Colinite 915, because you just got to make sure you go over it. And they also tell you not to have water touch the wheels for about 24 hours. So we already loaded up this pad. Now, you could go back and forth, crosshatch pattern. I'm not sure it really matters, but there's enough material on this applicator sponge right now. So rotate the rim. Let's see if I can get in there. You can kind of see the difference. You can see the streaks over here, no streaks there. It definitely feels sticky. It does not go on like a wax. Waxes definitely have a lot less surface tension when you're applying them. And I feel this stuff's starting to tack up already. Wow, it's pretty wild. Because, like I said, in my opinion, I think if you had a catalyzed ceramic coating, something that had a part A and a part B, and it exothermed, then it would form a permanent bond. I don't know if they have such systems for cars yet, but it does exist in other industries. The question is the application method and the cost might be pretty astronomical. But in this industry, there's a difference between cheap coatings and really good high-end coatings. So I didn't go back and forth. I mean, you can, I guess, like this. But to be honest with you, I know I already got the surface fully covered. And they're guaranteeing that this is going to help for up to a year during normal driving. So I don't know. It's either going to be just as good as the wax that I've been using, or it's going to suck. I don't really know. And I will probably update this video comment section in a couple of months. So it starts to tack up, and then when you get the residue off, the finish feels like you just waxed it. Now, doing gloss black wheels, you could always see the haze and any areas that you miss pretty carefully. I'm doing it in the shade right now outdoors, just for the video purpose, and I also don't want to smell all the fumes I've been working with here in the garage. Man, this barrel looks freaking insane right now. I definitely think it's really interesting because I never used these coatings before. It goes on really oily, starts to feel very sticky. You feel a lot of surface tension. You buff it off, and it looks like glass. Pretty interesting stuff. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys something I was thinking about here. Is how well, I can't really get the square sponge in there. So I got some, these are some natural, I believe these are made out of wool. These are dabbers that when I do upholstery work, I dye the edges of the leather when I'm working with tooling leather with this particular device. So I have boxes of these. So we're going to take the coating, I'm going to show you here. I have a brand new little plastic container. We're going to put some product in there. Just showing you. And we're going to use the dabber to get inside, and we're going to first load this up. And I think this is probably a really good tip for anybody that's going to do a rim coating, is to use these. And also, this rim has so much detail on the face that I'm also going to use the dabber to get into all the little recesses in here. Now, I highly doubt that this dabber is going to cause me any problems, to be honest with you, but if anybody out there hasn't used one or thinks it's a bad idea, I'm sure you'll be letting me know. But that's the only solution that I thought of, what I have on hand today. So you just use your finger to go in there. And like I said, these have, this particular wheel, the front wheel, is very deep lug pockets. And you have to go in there with a brush, a very good brush, to make sure you get them properly cleaned. All right, now I got to think of a game of attack, how I'm going to do the rest of the spokes. We'll go like this. We'll hit all the flat areas using this device. We'll wipe it out. So we're going to have to do this in sections. We're going to have to do, so we did the middle section first, inside the pockets, that's done. Now we're doing the face of the spokes, and then we're going to do all the reveal inside the pockets all the way around. And I'm going to switch application methods for that as well. I'm also going around the rim. I don't think it's a big deal if you get this on your tires, but I'm sure there's a way to get it off If anybody knows, you could post that in the comments of the video, but that's that. I'll tell you one thing, I picked probably one of the hardest rims on any of my cars to coat to do on a video. Oh man. So I'll put that to the side. The part that I've been dreading all along when I even thought about doing this is getting all in here. So probably a good idea is I'm gonna go grab one of my yellow Meguiar's wax pads. So I got so many bins of them, and I think I'm gonna just load that up with some of the product, and I'm gonna kind of go in there because, like I said, I've waxed these rims before, and to wax them, it's relatively easy. All right, guys, we're back. So I grabbed myself a brand new yellow Meguiar's wax pad. Like I said, the applicator that comes in the kit is a foam-based applicator, so I don't see this being an issue because I want to make sure I get full, even coverage. And I'm only going to apply the product to about 30% of the pad. I'm not going to keep the full pad saturated. Okay, just like that. So now we're going to go over and we're going to go in there. You see, with the pad, you can really get into all the little recesses and catch all the detail when you have intricate wheels like this. I can't see you doing it any other way, to be honest with you. I just think it's going to be really, really time consuming. And I'll tell you one thing, if I was charging to do something like this, it would not be cheap. I'll tell you that now, because this is a lot of work. And I'm only on rim number 1. So I'm kind of glad that I'm not doing all 4. But we're going to see how these hold up. And I'd love to hear some feedback from you guys, any of my customers and fans that have used this product, on what you guys think of it and how it's been holding up. That's the most important thing, because application is pretty easy. It's just like waxing your wheels. I can't see it being anything different. So if this is what a ceramic coating is all about, it's relatively nothing different. You're just using different materials to pretty much do the same process and quite a bit more steps. So I'm going to get this thing buffed out and I'll show you guys the finished rim in a couple of minutes. So that's it, guys. We're pretty much finished the complete decontamination, cleaning, finish correction, and ceramic coating on one of the wheels here, the gloss black Signature Forge SV701 for my GT350. Like I said, the process is pretty painless. I actually really enjoyed it. It's very similar to waxing the wheels. The whole key is the preparation. You've got to deep clean the wheels, decontaminate with the clay, prep sol all the surfaces, make sure you color coordinate your different towels during the different processes, polish and correct your wheels, use like a light cut polish, whether you want the Meguiar's, Sonex, Griot's Garage Fast Correcting Cream, whatever you guys have. The 3-inch rotary works outstanding on the barrels with the Meguiar's white microfiber cutting pads, because this gives you a good indicator as far as how well of a job you did. Then go over it with the iPaste solution, or I use the Gyeon Q2 prep the wheels, let it kick. I blew it all out and I applied the coating. You saw the little trick. I used the wool dabber to get into the pockets because the foam sponge applicator is rigid. You can't really go into some of those undercuts and recesses with this. Then I took the Meguiar's brand new wax pad and I applied the product to here, and this was able to manipulate and get into all the detail around the rims. And then I used another Gyeon cloth to wipe it off. So hope you guys liked this video. This was my very first ceramic coating. I thought it was great to do it, show you guys. I will keep you guys updated on the 2 rims that I finished today and let you know how the longevity works with self-cleaning properties, gloss intensity, if there's going to be any issues with the finish, hazing, chipping, peeling, I don't know. But like I said, this was pretty painless. This stuff is very inexpensive to buy. I'll link a lot of the stuff that I used today in the description of this video. If you guys want to go out and try it, I suggest pull the wheels off your car, especially if you guys are switching over to my autofanatic professional wheel cleaner. If you've been using harsher cleaners and acid cleaners in the past, I suggest you take the time to pull the wheels off the car, decontaminate them, bring that finish back to life. You could do a wax, a sealant, you could do a ceramic coating, whatever, and it's going to make the wheel cleaning process and cleaning so much easier going forward. So see you guys soon. Please like, subscribe, and share. auto-fanatic.com, and I'll see you guys in the next video.